What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look at a title called Land of the Vikings. If you ever wanted to play a game like Banished, but instead with like Norse mythology and Vikings, and you can send out boats on raids and things of that nature, this might be one of those games that's right up your alley. I've played the game for about an hour now, and I figured since the demo's going to be up for a couple more days, I'd go ahead and show it off. The demo, I think, goes down pretty soon, so on the day that this video goes live, you'll want to take the time to go ahead and grab it, because I'm pretty sure they're taking it offline sometime next week until they get further on in development. So you are operating, I guess, a little bit underneath like an operating constraint here, but it is what it is. I figure I'd disclose it at the beginning of the video. But a lot of people have been suggesting this one to me on my Discord. So anyways, Land of the Vikings. Let's play for about 30 minutes. I'll give you some of my thoughts. You can look down below in the description if you wanted to get a link to the demo as well as a link to my Discord. And let's get writing, shall we? We'll do a new game here. So the first thing that we've got to do is our city's name is Hotoft. No, I don't think that's I don't think that's a very good name for a village. We got to name a village something that sounds like fortuitous. You know what I mean? We'll name it Blood Mall. There we go. That's a good, well-adjusted city where absolutely nobody that lives inside of it is a psychopath. We've also got to design our flag. I like the color of the red flag. I do dig that. The green flag with the white overlay is pretty sexy. Ooh, I like that, though. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. We've got, like, a tree of life right there. What other symbols do we have around here? Looks like we've got some general-purpose knotworks. Okay. I figure I'll probably... Ooh, that's spicy right there. Let's go ahead and take that one. I think that one makes me happy. The village of Blood Mall hath been defined in banner form. In hanging tapestry, long may it reign. Let all neighbors and enemies fear the great and powerful Blood Mall clan. All right, so here we are. Welcome to the village. No, I think I'm probably good on the tutorial. I mean, if you've played one Banished style game, you've played them all. Let me guess. I'm probably going to have to go gather some wood. I'm probably going to have to smack some rocks. Okay. I just told you that I played the game for like an hour prior to this, so I suppose there's no surprises left there. I already know what's coming because I'm a mad lad like that. First thing we'll want to do is we will want to grab some wood. We'll also want to grab some rocks because those are what things are made out of in medieval times. There's a number of things with the UI here that we want to keep an eye on. Top left is going to be all of our resource displays. We've got our sun wheel right here, which is going to allow us to know both what season and what time of day it is. I am a big fan of colony builders and colony survival games, all incorporating sort of this rotary inner layer, outer layer idea. I think this is tremendously elegant, and I'm glad to see so many developers adopt it, because I do think that in a game like this, it's one of the best ways to kind of let the player know what time they are in with respect to the rest of the year while simultaneously knowing what time of day it is. Over here, we've got how long we've been playing the game. We can only play up till day 30. As far as I know inside of this demo, but have no fear, when I was playing for like an hour, I only got out to like day 8 or day 9, so like, it seems like the demo's got some girth to it, unless you're like sprinting through it with the time controls turned all the way up. I didn't really speed up the game at all during that period. We've got our population right here. We have 16 people. We've got happiness. The happiness meter here functions the exact same way as you'd expect from a game like Tropico. Basically, when you mouse over it, it will tell you all the things that people want you to build. As of right now, it's not doing it, I assume, because it hasn't calculated it yet, but anyways, it will tell you what it wants you to build in order to get your happiness up a little bit higher. Man, those environmental sounds, though, sound good, like being out in the woods on a spring day. We've got our fame over here. This is a stat that is exactly what it says on the tin. This is how famous your settlement is, how much renown surrounds your settlement. You can gain it from events and like raiding and stuff like that. We've also got our defensive points. So this is like how good we are at defending ourselves from other clans and whatnot. So I haven't seen it, but I'm guessing that there is going to be a focus on some level of combat inside the game. For right now, we've only got a couple of buildings to play around with. We've got a wood supply and a stone supply over here, so you don't need to build another one. We've also got, I think this is like the Jarl's hut. We've got a couple of generic houses over here that people live inside of. Each house is going to give you enough room for one family. When people do move into this colony, just with the natural passing of time, they will be in family units. So that it's very, very easy for you to just put down one more house for each family that comes on in. It avoids any, like, complicated counting or anything else like that. The villagers are around, and as you can see, there is some detail, actually, to the villagers. Like, they've got outfits, and the textures are not sloppy at all. They actually look fairly tight. The animations are a little tiny bit stiff. I know, there's my universal critique that everybody's waiting for right now. He said the thing. But if you go watch them while they chop wood and whatnot, it's a little tiny bit sluggish. But honestly, you're going to be zoomed out like this far most of the time anyways. So for a game like this, I don't really feel like it's that big of a concern. We do have a lumber mill over here. This is going to convert our logs into timbers. You can't really build anything out of generic logs in this game. You can pretty much only build using timbers. So we're going to want to assign a worker to this place, and every building has a stat that it favors, and every single one of your villagers has those stats. So we can sort by strength here. I think it's a really good idea to maybe add our 2 strongest guys to go ahead and be carpenters. There we go. And then we'll open the carpentry shop on up. It looks like we do have a couple of people that do not have homes, so we'll want to get on top of that before too long. As far as I can tell from the time that I spent with the game, there doesn't seem to be a way to figure out how many unemployed villagers you have. I looked around, I dug around through the UI a little bit, and with all the time that I spent with the game, if it exists, I do feel like it needs to be a little bit more obvious, because in a game like this, your primary thing that you're managing is like, how many villagers do I have available for doing generic tasks, like chopping down trees and getting stones and moving things around, and how many people do I have assigned to actual work like the carpentry or like selling stuff in the town center or like farming or whatever else, and I haven't been able to find that anywhere. So I would like that to be obvious somewhere in the UI in future iterations, like your total population versus your available population. Previously to this video, we played Homeseek, and that game did a really, really good job of being like, you have this many idle villagers, and I'd like to see that here as well. So let's go ahead and we're going to stamp out a house down here. We'll go ahead and turn that off real fast. We hold down the Z key in order to rotate things. I'll probably put a house like, I don't know, I'm not going to build super organized this time around. I just don't see a point. Medieval villages tended to be just all over the place. You kind of just built your house wherever. And so we'll probably just throw houses down and not worry about symmetry and things of that nature. Don't want to use up my rocks right there, though. Maybe we'll put like a street right here. That sounds good. We got a street right there. Now, everything in the game wants to be connected to a road. That's right. This is a road building game. So we will put down some basic kind of guideline roads, I think. I don't think I need to go out that far. The roads do cost you mun-muns, though, so they do get kind of expensive, in case you were wondering. I do like the way that the roads place. I haven't had any issues with road placement. I actually personally feel like it actually kind of naturally curves in accordance with where you want it to go based on where the mouse cursor moves. And honestly, I've found that that's actually been pretty tactile. It hasn't been hard to get the roads to kind of look the way that I want them to look as I play the game. They curve where I want them to curve. They straighten where I want them to straighten based on mouse movements, and no one really had to explain that to me. It just kind of works. You just kind of feel it. Like the first couple times you place a road, it's going to feel a little bit weird, but once you get used to it, they'll basically take the shape that you want them to take. One thing, though, is that you can't place roads underneath a guy who is actively underneath it. So like if one of your villagers is standing on a tile and you want to build a road on that tile, you got to wait for them to leave. And sometimes it can take a while before, oh, chop down a tree. All right, probably wouldn't have had it fall that direction. Seems a little bit risky. We do need to assign builders. I'm going to go ahead and give me 5 builders because there's a lot of construction to get done here. It wants me to build a marketplace, but actually I'm going to make an herbalist's hut first because the herbalist's hut is going to allow us to gather food. And so we'll put in the herbalist's hut kind of like right there, I think. That sounds good to me. How much silver do I have? I only have 80 silver left. I wasn't watching to see if my silver was actually going down, in all honesty, as I was placing things, but I don't know. We've got our herbalist's hut. So in a little bit, we should have a brand new house. We'll go ahead and put the game on kind of like a faster speed since I'm recording right now. And it looks like they've actually finished most of their chop assignments. There are little details in this game, the stuff that I watch out for. If you watch these little log carriers right here, they'll drop the logs off, and they do actually get added to the pile, which is one of those details that I've come to expect from a colony builder, so I'm very, very glad to see that. But anyways, all of the storages, they reflect how many logs you have. When they drop things off for production, it will add logs to the side of the building right here. So good. That's a nice little detail. It is getting kind of late in the day. I don't know if we're going to complete all these constructive tasks before we get there, but we can click on them to find out how far along they are, and it looks like we're mostly just waiting on stone. We actively have logs available. I don't know if that's going to be a function of the fact that they bring logs first just in their coding, or if we're actually low on stone. No, it looks like we have enough stone for right now, so I think we'll probably be okay. This hut should go up pretty soon. They're still doing the pre-materials collecting, and it looks like they can carry about 5 rocks at a time. God, I love the way those roads look. They look really, really good. I don't think they wear down the terrain in this game, as you would expect from like a game called like Foundation or one of those titles, where the paths that the AI actually chooses to walk on degrades the grass down into dirt paths. Don't think this game has that implemented, but it would be a nice thing to implement. I bring it up because it wasn't a thing in Farthest Frontier, I think, when I played the first demo of it or whatever, and I think they added it before release. Maybe it wasn't Farthest Frontier. No, it's Clanfolk. That was the game. Clanfolk, I suggested it when I took a look at their alpha, and they got that smashed on in there and made it into a thing because apparently they really, really liked the idea. It's one of those emergent things that I think makes the game a lot of fun. Oh, there's multiple phases of building. So that was basically just for the foundation. Okay, well, I guess I'll let it rip and ride then. One cool little detail is that they are actually placing all these poles, and they are placing all these cross beams right here. Another nice little detail. That makes me feel encouraged that the building process, they actually pick up a log from the pile and they place the crossbeam. That's good. That's one of those things that I look for when it comes to promising games. The devil is almost universally in the little details when it comes to these city builders, and the games that ignore that kind of stuff tend to be the kind of games that ignore other important things as well along the way. And the ones that like realize that that's a part of the city building immersive experience tend to do reasonably well, so I'm glad to see that. We'll go ahead and put a road in right there. People like it when their houses are attached to roads. I don't know why. As you can see, they get upsetty about it. Super, super upsetty spaghetti. I don't mean to invoke Italian food here because we're playing a Viking game, but for the life of me, I have no idea what Viking food would rhyme with upsetty. I just, you know, my natural knowledge of Danish, unfortunately very, very lacking. My knowledge of Spanish, somewhat okay, passable. I can get by in Spanish. But Danish? I have no idea. I'm pretty sure the root language for English is like Dutch and German. And I think there's like Frisian in there. Like specifically, I think linguistically it's Western Frisian, which the interesting part about that, sorry if I've told this before, and you might want to like second guess me on it, but I'm pretty sure if someone's speaking English and someone's speaking West Frisian, there's not very many people left that speak it, but they can actually understand each other, even having no knowledge of each other's languages. Like, they're that close. But yeah, I think it's Dutch and German and Frisian. And so anyways, we're still waiting on the herbalist hut to get done. It needs one more log to be dropped off. In the meantime, it wants me to build, like, a community market. And so I think we should probably do that. I think the marketplace is, like, here for the distribution of goods and just making sure that everybody has the thing that they want. I'm going to try to get that placed, but it's going to be hard to line up. I want my spacings to be good. There we go. That seems all right. There's another building ready to rock, and we'll try to come back in the morning once all the buildings are done. I think they work all night anyways, so... A beautiful little morning has arisen, and we've got time to take scenic pictures right here. This is a very picturesque game, although I can't help but notice, I think it's got some kind of motion blur turned on. I did go through the options to try to disable it prior to the recording of this video, but unfortunately there was no motion blur setting. They might have it nested inside of like a post-processing setting right here, but weirdly enough, you can't take the post-processing down below high, and so I honestly couldn't tell you. But still, very, very pretty game. I've got bad feeling about what YouTube's compression is going to do to the actual footage itself. Probably not going to be too pretty, but I have been enjoying the scenic nature of the game. It's really, really pretty and nice to look at. And the water effects, I mean, everything just looks great. It's a really, really good-looking game. Apparently, we've got some kind of pop-up over here. It says there's a blessing. You have been blessed. The light of Freya has shone down upon your village like a golden sun and blessed your lands. Well, I will say that Friday is one of my favorite days of the week, which is, after all, named after Freya. So, sweet. I'll take that. My faith has been rewarded, and feeling like Friday is one of the... There's just so many optimistic thoughts about a Friday. You know what I mean? Like, Saturday is cool, but that's when you're in, like, the thick of your free time. Whereas, like, Friday, you're just finishing up work, you're going into the weekend, and, like, there's just so many possibilities about what might be. Nothing has been written upon the runes yet, you know? One thing I do very much like is even in, like, this very, very early alpha version, they've already got the ability to set limits and whatnot on your production, which is great. because I've seen a lot of other projects that like forget to have that, and being able to limit how much you produce in like a given situation is very, very important. However, it's been a couple of days and they still haven't finished either of these buildings, so I'm beginning to wonder what's going on. I suspect it has something to do with the lumber mill. That's my suspicion, is that the lumber mill is probably responsible. So I'm going to go ahead and shut down the lumber mill real fast, just to make sure, because I've been watching my workers and they seem to only be dropping logs off at the lumber mill itself. They don't seem to be dropping logs off anywhere else. And there we go. Bada bing. They're dropping it off over on the left. And yeah, they got the paddock in right there too. Very nice. So now that they've delivered everything, Herbalist's Hut should be done soon, which means that after 3 days of going hungry, hopefully we will not be going hungry any longer. But we've got our market going on in. Oh, it needs 48 planks delivered. Yeah, that's a lot of planks. That's a solid number of worked timber right there that they're going to have to drop off. Either way, it's still working. It looks like we picked up a couple of villagers somewhere along the way, too. I didn't see it happen in the moment, but I guess that it did. I guess one task we could knock out right now is just running these roads already. So, like, let's say that I will take this out to, like, right there. And I would like for the road to kind of, I guess, a little bit more of a curve to it would look more natural. There we go. Perfect. And then I think my market is already hooked up to the roads. So that's fine. We're not going to have any more planks for a little while, but that's okay. The planking guy works fast. I've still got some more trees left up for chopping over here. We've still got 55 stone. We're probably going to need a stone cutter at some point as well. I noticed that there's worked stone. Oh, dressed stone. All dressed. They've gone the Canadian direction with their stone. They've done their stone like the Canadians do potato chips. All dressed. We'll go ahead and put that in right there, and that's got a nice little natural-looking turn to it. I like it. We're going to assign somebody to work over here, though. Let's see. So it takes someone that has a high amount of brain power to do this job well. I guess we'll have Ragnar Oogly Booglyson do it. Ragnar Oogly Booglyson is our guy. All right. Over here, you can see our market coming together. They're hanging up ropes and things. Very nice. What's up with these twigs on top of the buildings? Huh. I wonder if that's just a support for hanging the sheafs of the thatched roofing. Interesting. I've never seen that structure before. As a roofer, I was looking at it. I don't know. These things catch your eye when you did roofing for a living for a long time. And you're like, huh, that's an interesting strategy right there. They've got like interwoven twigs, and then they've got it mounted to an arch. And I assume that it just hangs the thatch down that way, basically, but I'd have to get a closer look at it. Our market's good to go, so we need to assign some people that have good charisma over here. Unfortunately, we are not a charismatic people. That's what I'm seeing right now, is that our ability to be charismatic, I guess we're kind of a gruff and grumpy. We're like the dwarves of Viking culture. We're gruff and grumpy, all right? Oh, I guess this doesn't gather things. I thought that it did. We spent so much time. Oh, well, what was the one that... Hold on. Oh, it was a gatherer hut that I wanted. That's okay. We can go with a gatherer hut. It seems productivity is actually quite good for the gatherer's hut over here. And so I would suggest... yeah, that we maybe put it down right there. It looks like they have a lot of herbs and things. Yeah, I'd want them to get those berry bushes over there. So we'll go ahead and put down the gatherer's hut. I built the wrong thing, and I've wasted half the episode building a place where people get better from being sick. Ah, well. We can also build some decorations. I think you can build, like, torches and things in order to make the place, like, lighter. And people have said that they do not like the brightness of my village. And so I'm going to, like, help out with that. We're just going to kind of put some braziers around. There we go. Just kind of get, like, one big pan full of fire in front of everybody's house. Because who doesn't love a big pan full of fire? There we go. It was expensive, but the illumination of my people required it. We shall bask in the smoky glow. Come, my brethren. Ooh, another little detail. You can see light from the interior of the building coming through the wood slats. That actually looks really, really good. I like it a lot. It makes me wonder, I guess Vikings, did they daub their houses? So it's pretty common in Western Europe that when you built like a house, you would daub it, which means you would take a mixture of clay and straw, and you would mix it together with water, and it would create kind of like this stucco, like a modern house is covered in. And then what you do is you would daub over, effectively, or in between even, these little slats right here to stop airflow. But that is a pretty cool effect. I like it a lot. It looks really, really striking from a distance. Like, it makes the houses look good, like they have depth to them. I don't know if I've ever seen a game use that strategy before. Honestly, I'm impressed in general with the lighting work in this game. Watching the sun come up, there's kind of like a red sun that slowly fades in, and the tricks that they're using for diffusion and refraction look very, very good. I don't know if those are just like plugins, but they look nice. They look really, really nice as the sun's coming up, and you can see the shadows slowly crawling all the way across the map, and then the red sort of like blends into like a lighter, much more neutral daytime white. Like, it looks good. It looks really, really good. The transition is not to be understated. It looks nice. Over here, looks like our gatherer's hut is about done. Good. Get them things knocked out. There you go. Construct for me the yurt of herbalism, the herba yurt. The herba yurt has been erected. We need charisma and we need luck. Can I sort by both? I mean, Ugabather seems like he's good at it, so you know what? Ugabather, you do it. And then I guess our only other person is probably Bjartney. All right, Bjartney, go for it. I'm all about the Bjartney life. Bjartney it up. Let's watch this animation over here. So he's going to the bush, and he broke out like a little basket. Nice. He's got one of those little peasant caps on, like one of those little "Yes, me lord" hats. So I assume he's just going to bring the berry on back over here. I don't know. Unlike Banished, it doesn't look like this all dies. What's wrong with this guy? What is he upset about? Oh, she. My bad. It seems like she is upset about the fact that she does not have a house. She should have a house. What about Angly? What about Angly? Does he have a house? Is there a go-to location button here? Like with like a little arrow or something? Oh, he's quarrelsome. Interesting. Okay, so they've got their own little perks and stuff too, and then they've also got clothing that you got to keep an eye on. All right, fair enough. Wants me to add 10 more decorations, but for the life of me, I don't really decorate my cities in games like this. It's not a thing that I do. Since we have a market over here, I guess we could put like a little triangle of barrels right there. Maybe like a crate or two. Yeah, we could probably do that. Get like a crate. Like another little storage crate over here. There we go. Make it look a little bit more lived in. Perfect. I mean, it looks like some callous god placed that right there. Human beings are a lot more messy than that. We just leave things wherever they're closest most of the time. And then we need to gather our first fruit. Hath fruit been gathered? It does look like they're focusing on picking the berry bushes first. I guess they just haven't dropped off yet to complete the objective. But there is like a tech tree in this game. I can tell that people are probably, oh, we got more money. Cool. I don't think it was from selling anything. But anyways, there's the Tree of Life. What the Tree of Life does is this is effectively your tech tree. As you survive for longer and you get more fame, you can make your villagers have like a little happiness buff. We can make them work a little bit faster, which I feel like is a strong play. We've also got the next layer right here of settled life. So we are no longer nomadic. We now have the ability to lay down and create like crops so that we can stay in an area for much longer. And it looks like our crops can grow 5% faster if we take that over there. And it does look like this zooms out pretty far. Like, it seems like there's a lot of technologies here to play around with. I'm not actually sure what age of the Vikings we're actually in. Like, I don't know if we're in, like, the time period when England was still, like, Mercia and East Anglia and all those places, or if we're, like, later on down the line before, you know, like, what year AD exactly are we in? Because the Vikings were pretty dominant for, like, a long, long time with their raiding and pillaging lifestyle. think we need another house, otherwise people are going to get cranky with us. So I think we've got a family that's actually not being housed right now. It looks like, in fact, we probably want to go with the nicest house, would be my thinking. So we'll go ahead and do that. Let's kind of like rotate this over a little bit. That way we can have maybe like a crossroad that runs that way. Or maybe we'll like, maybe we'll jimmy it around a little bit. Like we can take it out like that right there. And then just kind of give it kind of a swoopy thing. Yeah, I was trying to make it look a little bit more natural and flowy. I'm kind of like a stickler for aesthetics in games like this. Looks like they did bring back the food, so we have meals now that can be purchased. And in fact, our money is up from 50 to like 100. I don't know if that was in the course of just completing an objective. It is. Okay, so as we finish these, we're getting money too. So we need to gather herbs. Oh, did my worker leave over here? I don't know if my worker left over there. Either way, we'll put a worker back on it, though. Looks like we're actually a little bit low on wood. I was trying to keep some trees around here just so we'd have some shade, but I am clearing trees at a very, very aggressive rate. We're going to have to take down a new grove, I guess. I'll try to be careful about it, though. I don't want to completely and totally butcher all the trees in my area if I can help it. There we go. We'll get those ones knocked out. See if we can store up some logs. Oh, dude, Ragnar Oogly Booglyson died because he had a work-related accident. I mean, he is the village doctor. If anybody was going to be exposed to all kinds of crazy stuff, you know, like Ebola and whatnot, it'd probably be him. Like, everybody else duck the Ebola, be like, yo, stay away from the sick guy. But, like, he has to go near the sick people because he's a doctor. That's the worst part. That's like, that's really kind of the conflict of being a doctor, isn't it? Is that, like, you're the most likely to get sick, ironically, even though you're a healer. There is an irony to be mentioned here. It would appear to me as though we've had a number of casualties while I was kind of letting the game do its thing. It says people are hungry. We have meals. I just don't know if they're being sold. There are fruits in there, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. Either way, we got a new house out there. Oh no, dude, her brother died. Or her husband died. RIP. Feels bad. Okay, so yeah, we might be getting a little bit low on potential people that are available to, like, keep our society floating via the distribution of goods and also services. A relative died. Yeah, that would be relatively upsetting. Sure, let's just have one person over here making planks. Why not? You know, it says that that's the best quality of house. But I'm not going to lie to you, it looks a little bit rickety to me. Not like crazy rickety, but I mean, all I'm saying is I wouldn't do jumping jacks on the roof. That's all that I'm saying. As I'm saying that it's probably not a jumping jack approved surface upon which to do our calisthenics, you know what I mean? But my name is Splattercat. I think we're just about running out of time for the day. This game is called Land of the Vikings. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys dug it. I will be back tomorrow with something hot and fresh off the indie skillet, but after playing it for a little while, I felt like it was promising, both in terms of the graphical fidelity that's been put out there, and also in terms of little details, like the buildings being incrementally constructed and stuff like that, and like how large the technology tree was. Like, it's one of those things where I see the hallmarks. I've been doing this for a long time now, and my brain has kind of begun to sort of archive the steps in the process towards a game that's kind of on the right path, and I see some of those things here. And so anyways, I just wanted to share it with you. I'll be back tomorrow with something hot and fresh off the indie skillet. Thank you for hanging out with me. That's about all I got, but I will see you all later. Bye-bye, everybody.